Hi everyone, it's Tatyana from Tatyana's Everyday Food and welcome back to my kitchen. So cherry season has already started in California and today I wanted to share with you guys the ultimate chocolate cherry cake. I'm adding tons of freshly diced cherries into the moist chocolate cake layers and then in between the layers of the fluffy cream cheese frosting. Let's get started and I'll show you guys how to make this beauty. Let's get started with the chocolate cake batter. So into a large bowl, I'm going to add 3/4 cup of softened butter. And to my butter, I'll be adding 1.5 cups of white granulated sugar. And then grab my mixer and cream the butter and the sugar together. To my creamed butter and sugar mixture, I'm going to add in 4 large eggs and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then I'm going to pour in 1 cup of milk and give this a quick mix. And now for my dry ingredients. So I've pre-sifted 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and to that I'm going to add 1/2 cup of dark cocoa powder. It's going to add lots of chocolate flavor. 4 teaspoons of baking powder and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. All right, just going to toss this all together. I'm going to add my flour into my cake batter. And then I'm going to mix it just until the flour is combined. You don't want to overmix your batter. And now for my final ingredient, I'm going to add in 1 cup of diced cherries. And then fold them in. This is going to add lots of fresh cherry flavor right into the cake. And now it's time to get this cake batter into the oven. So today I'm using 3 8-inch cake rounds. I've lined the bottom with parchment paper. You can also do this cake with 2 9-inch rings. And then I'm going to bake my cake layers in my preheated oven, which is set to 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 40 to 45 minutes or until a toothpick inserted into the center comes out clean. And now I'm going to get started on my cream cheese frosting. So into my mixer bowl, I'm going to add in 1 cup of softened butter. And you want this to be at room temperature so you can get it really light and fluffy. And then to the butter, I'm going to be adding 16 ounces of cream cheese, so that's 2 packages. And these are also softened at room temperature. And I'm just going to whisk this together for about 5 to 7 minutes until it's really light and fluffy. And once I have that whisked together, I'm going to start adding my confectioner's sugar. I'm going to add about 4 cups. You can add more or less to your liking. And then I'm going to give it a whisk after each addition. And now it's time for some flavor. So I'm going to add a pinch of salt. You don't want to add too much, but you want to add a little bit to mellow out the sweetness. About a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And now this next ingredient is optional, but I'm going to add a tablespoon of golden rum. You can also add cherry liqueur if you have it on hand. And if you don't want to add the alcohol, you could just omit this all together. And then just give this a quick whisk. All right, my cake layers have cooled completely, and then I took a long serrated knife and leveled off the top. And now it's time to assemble the cake. I'm going to pile on my frosting. And then take a spatula and spread it evenly to the edges. And then on top of my frosting, I'm going to add my cherries. So I just pitted and have these, and I'm going to place them right on top. So you have fresh cherries with every bite. And I'm going to top this off with my next cake layer and repeat the same process. And I'm going to top this off with my last cake layer. I've transferred my remaining frosting into a pastry bag, tip number 847, and I'm going to make some rosettes on the top. Just a very simple and beautiful finish. And I'm going to finish the top off with some fresh cherries. All right, let's cut into this beauty and check out what it looks like inside. So you want to grab a large sharp knife. Oh, that looks so good. Look at all those cherries and that cream cheese frosting. Delicious. And that's it, guys, for my chocolate cherry cake. And I love this cake because it's so easy to put together. Now, if you're not serving it right away or you want to keep it refrigerated for a couple days, I would recommend frosting the outside. I kind of left it open and bare so you guys can see the cherries today. But if you don't want the cake layers to dry out, just frost them over. And now it's time to dig in and enjoy this cake. I can't wait because I love cherries. This cake is so delicious and it's loaded with lots of fresh cherry flavor, and that's my favorite part. Combined with that creamy cream cheese frosting, the rich, delicious chocolate cake layers, you cannot ask for a better cherry cake. So if you have some extra cherries on hand, you gotta give this recipe a try. And if you do make it, don't forget to share with me on Instagram. I always love to see you guys' creations. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.